This is a story of how people interact with physical spaces, an exploration of how people make their own community, and a journey through live music in Montreal with a focus on queer art and performance. This project was born out of a desire to showcase the vibrancy of Montreal's queer music scenes, to connect them with their roots in the past, and to celebrate community action and resistance. Against the backdrop of the current cultural context, where many music venues are closing down and alternative nightlife is becoming more endangered and less accessible due to gentrification, this project quickly expanded into a showcase of these spaces as an exploration of why it is important that they are preserved. The film provides an overview and companion for a longer radio series we have produced at the same time, which gives a deep dive into Montreal's queer music history of the past 20 to 30 years.
Love is the beginning, zero, nothing for me. Playing doubles, love is trouble. Love is the beginning, zero, nothing for me. Playing doubles, love is trouble. To face, the ball falls flat when you can't play. I'm so important, so motivated, I'm so empowered, so complicated, drinking beer and playing pool, well, you're mentally ill, that's so cool, that is where Is this it? Big time ego
La Toscadura is part of the Casa del Popolo family of venues, which have served as a center for experimental music in Montreal since the early 2000s. Now we will meet one of their founders.
Okay, hi, I'm Kiva Tanya Stimac. I'm the co-founder of the Suoni Popolo Festival, the Casa del Popolo, the Sala Rosa, and La Sotrinia venues, as well as some other ones that have come and gone. So in 2000, me and my ex-partner at the time were working, we were in our 20s, and I was working as a cook in a homeless women's shelter, La Rue des Femmes, which was a beautiful experience in itself. And then my partner was a touring musician in a band, Godspeed You Black Emperor, and we had heard from our friend Jordy Rosen, shout out to Jordy, the accordion player and tarot card reader, that the space that is Casa now, which was formerly known as Artie Show, the guy who was running it had left town. And so we were looking for jobs as Anglophones in Montreal, outside of what we were doing. And we thought, we had always dreamed of opening a little cafe. So we came, we saw the space, we signed the lease immediately, and then we started the renovations that were needed to get the permit to serve alcohol and food. Once we had the venues, we realized we could invite our friends to play or invite people we'd always wanted to hear to play. And because Mauro was in a band who had an agent, we noticed that Arab Strap, which was a band from across the pond, was coming and playing Toronto and Boston and New York, but wasn't coming to Montreal. So he said to his agent, hey, would they be interested in coming to play our new little space? And he said, sure, but I don't think anybody will come. But we said, let's just try. So we put the tickets online and they sold out. I guess it wasn't online back. No, maybe it was, I can't remember. We made an announcement that tickets were for sale and we sold out in like 10 minutes. Like by the next day, we needed to find a bigger venue. And we had seen our friend Nicholas Caloya, the bass player, play a show with Ratchet Orchestra at the Spanish Cultural Association across the street, which is now Sala Rosa. So we went over there and we talked to the old Spanish guys and we said, hey, can we put on a show here? And as you know, it's a beautiful old ballroom. And they said, sure, we'll do the bar, you do the show. And we sold out that show. So then obviously there was a desire by Montreal audiences to have these bands, touring bands, come through. So that is the genesis of the festival, you know, like if you build it, they will come. And we just started calling up everybody we knew, from free jazz heroes to young punks to crazy noise experimenters. Take my hand, baby, if we treat the goddess right, we can travel there.
The right to be angry, thought I was a chill bitch. Everything I manifested, wonder why I'm so aggressive. Register my pen's a weapon, check yourself, I'm not a legend. Don't talk down to me, or you'll see some warriors. Shut the fuck up before they have to go call the coroners. Yeah, don't talk down to me, or you'll see some warriors. Shut the fuck up before they have to go call the coroners. Yeah. Fuck you and your crew, transphobes on the loose. About to kick 'em with the boo, grandma made chicken with the soup. Ayy, that should give me extra strength. See, I do this for the love, but I also do this for the pain. When I walk outside, yeah, I am not afraid. Yeah, I heard what I want, and your opinion does not faze me. If you have no fam, I'm your mother, now you my baby. We deserve the rest. There's no such thing as being lazy. Let me chill for a sec, or make a meal out of your neck. I'm not trying to make a threat, but I'm tired of your disrespect.
You know, there's the DIY, but now my friend Rose in Toronto coined the term DIT, which is do it together. And I think that's really the only way that we can move forward and that partnerships are what lift us up. I couldn't do this festival the way that I'm doing it at the scale that I'm doing it. It's not a 24-day festival anymore. It's a 12-day festival, but it's still like every night there's 3 or 4 shows in different venues with 3 to 4 acts and outdoor events. And even though there's some grant funding, I do it with very limited grant funding. And what really holds up the festival is all the partnerships that I've been able to form over the past 25 years.
My name's Sergio Silva. I'm co-owner of Turbo House with 2 other partners, Dan Matheson and Michelle Ayoub. We've been in this location for about 6 years. My role here is basically to run the day-to-day and be on the internet and things like that. The way Turbo got started, it started as a DIY space at 1180 Saint Antoine, and then when that eventually got torn down, we got our liquor permit, moved to St. Henry. That was not a good fit, and then we've been here in this location for 6 years. When we opened initially, you know, if you look at punk and hardcore, when we started doing this like 13, 15 years ago, you know, it was a boys club. It was a white boys club, and like that's sort of like what happens. But, you know, once you sort of start to expand your horizons and you start to create community spaces where everybody can get involved and, you know, kind of get together, you can see changes happen pretty rapidly. One case that's very easy to sort of point out is when we started doing Grove, where it was more of a jazz, hip hop kind of thing, less, you know, absolutely nothing to do with punk or hardcore or metal. But you started to see these people get together, and now, you know, you have dudes from the Grove event playing in bands because they've met people here who are now playing in hardcore bands. And it's wonderful to see. Everybody's kind of like getting involved, and they can see how there's something for everybody in all genres of music.
Shame me, I'm not dirty, I'm not dirty, I'm not. You wish I would walk around with my head down to scream. You can try to shame me, I'm not dirty, no, I'm clean.
Lately, many people have expressed concern with the sustainability of our underground music scenes and what lies in the future as gentrification continues to worsen, hand in hand with targeted noise complaints, and more people are pushed further out of the mainstream, disproportionately affecting those already in the margins.
When you start to price people out, when you start to push people out, when you start to add barrier upon barrier upon barrier to entry into making legitimate, you know, air quotes, legitimate venues and businesses, yes, DIY will be the way to do it. Turbo House started as a DIY spot where you were able to be successful enough and meet enough people to make it, you know, get our liquor permit, which basically makes us not DIY anymore. But at the end of the day, I fucking built this stage. I fucking built this bar. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, it's still a DIY space. As you push people out, they're going to find different ways to do things, and that's the essence of what makes everything worth doing. Being sort of adaptable, being smart, being creative in the ways that you do things. Like, that's the only way forward, and I see it every fucking day. Again, like when people are like, the scene's dead, it's like, dude, you don't see what I see. And I see it literally daily, how people are just trying to make things work, and they're successful.
The music scene is inherently connected with other art forms. We now go to a local art studio, The Long Hall, which has been providing affordable multidisciplinary art spaces for 25 years, and is now facing closure due to a rent increase of 2.5 times their current rate. I had a conversation with a few of the artists there about what this space means to them.
It really helps with like my mental health to have a place that I can come to. If you see someone, you're like, oh hey, like, you know you're not alone, right? Like, and I think
And you know you're
that's-
not the only one doing this crazy
this,
thing.
yeah,
This
exactly.
thing that is so
Yeah,
intangible.
yeah.
And that the society does not value necessarily.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, my other weirdo buddies are here too. We're all like doing it, and I think because it's affordable, we can. But it's so hard to find a place that you can actually engage in your artistic practice.
Our events held live music back in the day, and we're all being sort of faced with the same problem. I try to focus on the idea that, like, when something dies, the compost of that death, it becomes the soil for new seeds to grow, and that it allows for a space to grow elsewhere.
I was drawn to this place by the spirit of friendship, and I think the kind of individual this space is attracting, it's like a domino effect, and like meeting Antoine and then seeing the spirit of his welcomeness, and then that allows me to embrace myself. It seems like the beginning of something, but you're right, like the soil of something can sprout something else, and the friendships made can lead to something new.
In response to the gentrification that has been affecting local music, art, and nightlife, groups such as the Collective Reverberation d'une Crise have begun to speak out and create more awareness around the issue, as well as provide the opportunity for people to remember and mourn what has been lost.
The concept of the action is pretty simple. In fact, we'll gather at Parc Jeanne-Mance at the corner of Esplanade and Montreal, and it will be a small demonstration which will take the aesthetic form of a funeral march. There will be a marching band that will be playing the Van Hornies, and we will march into the streets. We will stop in front of the site of some of the venues that have been closing. Those places, often, they're really significant for whole communities. People meet there, they gather, you have some scenes who have those spots which they tend to go. And the thing is that with those many closings, it impacted the music scene, but also it impacted the affective dimension of the life of many people, their networks.
It was running since the mid-2000s in Montreal, and was the local space for tons of folk music, punk music, experimental music. There was an experimental music series called Monster Spaghetti, which is still around by La Casa de Popolo, that was operating here for about 10 years, that included guests from all over Scandinavia, Europe, Mexico, South America, New Zealand, Australia, Japan. It's a very special place where there was a lot of people that started cutting their teeth doing this kind of music here at KGB. We never actually had any complaint from them. Some of them would just drown us out with their own music on the other side. The venue and the cafe were shut down by Schiller Lavie Group, which now goes by SLG, because they had too much of a bad press with evicting people. So they just have a history of trying to ruin local establishments to build condos or unaffordable restaurants. And I think the lesson through this is that we do need concert halls and maisons symphoniques and all that stuff, but there's also a need for space where grassroots experimental music, out there music, militant music, queer music can exist, and this space was an excellent one for that. So thank you.
Change runs down castle steps. Moments pass in quick succession. Home is where the body's kept. Where my body's kept. Where your body's kept. Where my body's.
We are now at Bâtiment 7, a community center in Pointe Saint-Charles that is home to a music venue as well as a variety of other resources and spaces rooted in resistance and collective action.
There's our space, which is a bigger venue, the Recyborg that I'm a part of. There's all the workshops, being the mechanic, the bike shop. There's a poterie class, a photo lab, a print shop. There's a Sans Taverne, which is a microbrewery, but also like just a bar. They have music events there too, and they make their beer in this building, then they sell it to people, and they have a nice terrace out front. There's a non-profit grocery store, there's a revolutionary bookstore upstairs, there's an art school, and just a bunch of rad stuff in a rad building organized by rad folks.
right in your face, looking through dirty clothes, spilling the coffee that we left on the stove. I was afraid of the city. You were contagiously pretty, shaming the light and a manifestation of lesbian writing. Yeah!
Even as gentrification increases and spaces shut down, the music scene still persists and people continue to find ways to gather and perform. As the new generation continues to move into the scene, spaces are becoming increasingly more diverse, more broadly accepting towards queer people, and more focused on accessibility and community care. There are also more all-ages shows than there used to be, and more opportunities for people from different age groups and demographic backgrounds to exist in the same spaces, even as it becomes more difficult economically to sustain art and culture in Montreal. Queer people have always had to carve out space for ourselves, and although the cultural landscapes of our city are changing, there will continue to be resistance, just as there always has been.
You were cool girl Jason. We made out in the raiment. We were a Molly, just a testament to human folly. I was in the cool girl vicinity, but just from heaven and instinct, beast and the demon. I didn't know she got nothing but I died. Oh.